So you want to make an RPG or an adventure game, just any sort of game, where you want to save the world state. Today we're going to learn how to do it. I'm Kieran. I have a studio called Cursecast, and we're making a game called The Sacred Acorn, so check that out. There'll be a link in the description for those videos if you're interested in seeing that. Let's go on though. So what a world state is we will make something that saves what happens to each object in the world. It could be in different scenes. It could be something that happens in the same scene and you save and then reload the game. There's plenty of applications for it. I think it's something that's really important. I couldn't find the best information of how to do it. I think the way that I've come up with for this tutorial is very good. And I hope you enjoy it and kind of understand it. If you don't, happy for you to ask in the comments about what to do, and if there's simpler ways that I could have explained it, please just ask, comment, and let's get into it. So I've gone ahead and made a sample scene that we're going to use to make our world state. It's using the Invector third-person controller. This is just so we can get it up and running and I don't have to fiddle with making a character to show off the scripts. So what we're going to do from here is go into our scripts folder. We're going to create a new script called World State Manager. Once we've done that, we open that in Visual Studio or any script editor or IDE that you prefer. So we're going to get rid of the start and update methods. We're not going to need them. We're going to make this a static class as we actually don't want it to inherit from model behavior. This is just going to be a class that anything else can access. We also want to make a class that holds our data called world state. And our world state manager is going to have an instance of that. So private static world state all right. Now with that, we're going to want to get and set states. We want when it starts up. So when the world state manager starts up, when your application starts, we want to create an instance of this state. So state equals new world state. So that is the beginning of our class. From here, we're going to want to create our lookup for our world state. So we want to make a public dictionary with string as the key, int as the value. We want to call this lookup, and we want it to equal a new dictionary upon its creation. With that now, we can make our gets. So we want to, well, our getters and setters. Public static void set state. We want our key, and we want our value. So here we go into state.lookup of our key equals value. We want to do the inverse for get, public static int get state string key. From that, we return our state.lookup with the key. Now, what is bad about this is the key might not exist when we try and retrieve it. So we're also going to want to put a int default value. This means if our state doesn't contain the key that we're looking for, that we want to return a default value instead. This will stop us from having problems where we look up something and it breaks the whole system. And we want it to if it does not contain. This system will work, but I think we can make it better. Back in Unity, what we're going to do is we're going to make a system that switches the state of an object. So I've got this pillar here. What I'm actually going to do is copy that, move it over. I'm going to copy it again And this will be our door. So I'm just going to lower the Y scale on this, make it a bit thinner, maybe. That's right. And we'll move it down. So if I play, I shouldn't be able to get past that wall. I hope. Yep, I can't get past that wall, which is good. What we're also going to do is we're going to create another cube. And we're going to scale it. And just put it on the ground. With this on the ground, we're going to create a trigger zone that sits on top. So we've got a box collider here that is our physical object, but we actually don't need it to be that. We want it to be a trigger. We're going to scale the Y up by a lot and just move it up. Now that we've done that, we want to create a script. And this is going to be world state door. We open that script up in Visual Studio. And it should load. Sure. Now with this, we want to use the Unity's on trigger enter. On trigger. Actually, I think we just want the enter. We don't need the exit. So the current door state, we're going to have a private int door state equals 0. Now on awake, we also want a serialized field, sorry. That is the door key, private string door key. On awake, we are going to use the global state manager, the world state manager dot get key, get state. We want to use our door key, and the default value is 0, which is closed. So our door state equals the get state that we just got from our world state manager. Now on trigger enter, if door state equals 0, that means we're going to open it. If door state equals 1, we're going to close it. So just put in a comment here. 0 equals open. Closed. 1 equals open. Now that we have that, so here we're going to have our door object. We're going to make another serialized field. Private transform. Actually, we'll make it a game object. Door object. If door is open, we want to say door state equals 1. And we want to get the world state manager, set state, door key with door state. So that's going to set our state for the next time. We're just going to copy that and reverse it. Now with this, every time we land on the door, it should change the object. So we're going to test it out now. So we'll go back to Unity. And with that, we're going to put a blank object inside of our, so we're going to get this object. We're going to call this door switch. We're going to put our world state door on it. And the door object is going to be this cube. When doing this stuff, you may want to label name your objects rather than just keeping them as cube, and make finding stuff much easier. So we want the door, and we're just going to name this door. All right, so we've got our person. We'll go inside here, and nothing has happened. Why has nothing happened? So we've got our box collider, which is a trigger. And we're just going to do a debug.log has triggered. What we haven't done is gotten our door object dot set active true. No, sorry, false. We want to open the door. And we do the same down here. We want to close the door so that it is now open. When we awake, we want to do the same. So if door state equals 0, else. If you have more than 2 states, so I've got 0 and 1. If you've got 0, 1, and 2, you want to do ifs instead of an if else. So we're going to say the door object. So if it's closed, we want it to be true, else it's not active. We just let that compile again, and this should work this time. And here we go. It has triggered, but it's not setting our door to false. So we're just going to do a quick debug. Debug is a great tool in Unity to solve problems like this. We can just step through. Door state equals 1. Oh, so I'm instantly closing it. So here's a lovely problem. We want else if. Don't make my mistakes. And Unity is just compiling. All right, so this time it closes, or opens, sorry, and then closes. What we want the world state to do is if we come back into it, we want it to remember that state and keep it open. It's currently not doing it. That's the whole point of what we're doing. So we want to go into our world state manager, and we want to, when we start it up, we want to load the state. So we're going to have 2 more methods. We're going to have public void save state, public static void load state. Save state and load state. So save state is just going to get the world state that we have and save it. And load state is going to load it. So we're going to get our path, which is var path equals application persistent data path. I'll do that for both. So what we are going to want to do now is create the files that hold our data. To do that, we're going to use system.io, which is our file management in .NET. To start off with, we want to combine the path with our file name, which will be state.dat. Just copy it down here. We're going to want to create an empty file stream. If the file exists, we want to create a new file. Sorry, we want to open that file. Open and write at that path. Else, we want to create it. We create a new binary formatter. So we want, formatter equals new binary formatter. We're going to say formatter dot serialize file and state. We then want to close the file. We'll do something very similar for load state. So if file.exists path, we load it, and if it doesn't, we do nothing. There's no state already, so there's nothing to load. So we're going to get file stream file equals file.open path. Sorry. Open read. We then want a binary formatter equals new binary formatter. We can actually just make this a var just to make our code a little bit cleaner. Formatter.deserialize. We want it of type world state. So, and we want state to equal what we're returning. Deserialize file as our world state. So we want to close the file here. And back up at the start, we want to load state. So at the moment, nothing should happen because we have no state. But the state should save. I would create a save method for this normally, but for the purposes of this, every time we set the state, we're also going to save it. So save state. All right. So let's go back into Unity. Just wait for it to compile. We're going to launch this. We're going to open our door. So we're just going to run the game. Now, what problem we just had is that world state in assembly is not marked as serializable. So that means we need to go into our C# or Visual Studio. We need to say system.serializable. And that'll fix that little error. Now, we might get an error where it tried to load the state and created the file, but let's see. No, it didn't. But now the door's open, so that's really good. We've got a trigger that opens the door, and if we go back into it, the door should still be open. That's great. So what's happening there is the system is loading the world state. When this door loads, or when that trigger loads, it's checking is the state currently loaded. And if I step back on it, it'll close it. And if it's loaded, what is our current value? So we've saved the state. And then we've gone here, and when it awakes, it says, all right, what's in the state? Is it 1? All right, it's 1, so we're going to set the object to false. And we loaded that from that file that we saved earlier. This is really good for lots of different things. You could save player inventories. You could save where things are. Like if you have a ball, the state for that ball could be its position on the map. So something like Skyrim, where if you drop items on the ground, it remembers their state of where it is. You could save lots of things, not just 0, 1, on, off for doors. But this is just a simple tutorial to get you started into that kind of world. So I hope you do plenty of things for it. If you do make something using this sort of system, or just want to show what you've done, please put it in the comments below. I'd love to check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. I know it was a bit of a long one. I'll try and make the next one a bit more concise. So thank you for watching anyway. If there's any other tutorials you'd like me to cover, just let me know in the comments or join our Discord channel. If you could also hit the subscribe button, that helps me out and gets the channel a bit bigger, and share if you think it was a good tutorial. You can also check out our Patreon if you want to support us even further here. That's really helpful. Even just if we could get up to $10 a month, that would pay for our website, which would be great. Next thing, just check out Sacred Acorn. It's the devlog on the on our channel. There's other videos for it. That's the game we're working on, and I think it's going to be pretty good, and I hope you enjoy it too. So thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.